There are some cars that stop you in your tracks when they drive by. You see them parked up. And then add in the magic of a roadster being an electric vehicle, and that is what you get in the MG Cyberster. I had a look at the car briefly in London last year, but this is actually in Dublin at a top secret location. I can't drive the car today, but I've been assured it will happen soon. There's a few tweaks on this car since we last saw what was a pre-production version, and obviously that was in the deep kind of red. This bright yellow really works with the lines of the car as far as I am concerned. There's still some aspects of the car that haven't been confirmed. Price in the UK is guaranteed it's somewhere between 50 and 60,000 euro. Convert the 60 to euro, you get 70. Add on your VRT and a bit more Eamon Ryan tax, and we could be looking at somewhere close to 80,000 euro, which is a lot. But hang on, if I was to tell you that could get you the dual motored 600 brake horsepower, 0 to 100 kilometers in 3 seconds, and change that badge to an Audi one, you double it all day long. So there's actually incredible value in this car. Even the Alpine roadsters that you might be interested in, they will sound better, there's no doubt, but again, you're talking minimum that kind of money. But design-wise, it's absolutely beautiful. Remains to be seen if the scissor doors will be as standard on the car, but with the key, you can open them. Now, just doing it a couple of times, it does take a lot longer than just opening and closing a car, but the drama, the theatre of it is pretty good. Now, again, in Ireland, we're not really used to these kind of cars. I don't know what sort of looks you get from someone pulling up in Dunnes Stores and your door doing that. It might be the wow factor, or it might be, see here, man. Anyway, the reason I'm opening this door at this point is I want to show you under the bonnet. Not because there's a frunk, but just to give you an idea of the space involved. These removable covers give you access to windscreen fluid, brake fluid, that kind of stuff, but there is no frunk storage area. And I'm trying to peek my head under to see would there be any room for it. Obviously, look, they've made the decision that there isn't. A lot of cars like this that would be rear-engined would have a bit of space, but then again, that would be the only boot you'd be getting in those kind of cars. So we'll check out the boot in just a second. On that part of the car, well, it's quite shallow, but to be honest with you, there's really nothing wrong with it compared to any typical roadster. It actually goes quite deep inside the boot, quite a wide opening, and certainly bigger than your typical car of this nature, where it's generally just the whole aperture space here is all you can access in terms of boot. The idea of it going deeper in there to fit certainly a couple of weekends overnight bags, or I think I'd need to get the measuring tape out, and I don't have one with me, but I think you'd nearly fit a proper 20 kilogram suitcase, just the one. And it might be awkward to slide it in, but a little bit of perseverance, and I think you could just about manage it. In terms of where you're going to keep these bad boys, well, there's no storage as such, so they are just going to sit on the boot floor. There are a couple of net areas to store things, but it's generally quite a cozy affair, let's call it that. But certainly, I'm actually impressed by how much space is in there compared to what you typically expect in a roadster type of car. From the nose end of the car then, it has the classic long bonnet of a roadster, Lotus style lights, dare I say it, Ferrari style lights. We've got a couple of air curtains that do actual jobs of flowing air here. Very low splitter on the front, curbs are something you probably want to watch out for. We have a camera on the front, again just being broken up by the different colors with the grille. Again, a little bit of air getting in here from what I can tell, but a lot of it is cosmetic because I suppose it's not needed. A lot of the airflow just breezing over this bonnet. It just kind of makes you eager to get behind the wheel of this car and find out just how slippy this all is, and it just has the look of take me for a spin. Turbine style alloys on this car, 20-inch diamond cut. They look very easy to curb, and it's such a beautiful looking car. As soon as you make contact with cement on the side of these, it's going to drive you absolutely mad. It might be worth looking at, well, are on P0s here, but is there any sort of a tire? And there is a little bit of lip protection on it, but you just know as soon as you hit one of them, it's going to make baby Jesus cry. But they are absolutely stunning looking. The red Brembos behind just working beautifully with the yellow and the black and the diamond cut. Just looks beautiful. Another bit of detail on the car that we didn't see before, 100th anniversary inscription on the side, on the sills here, obviously throwing back to MG of old. Yes, we know it's not the same company. Yes, you can comment about that if you wish, but we're here today to look at a very striking roadster that just happens to be an EV. This sensor, now it does, like, it's not like it stands it all the time, but once you see it, you can't unsee it. The point of this is for the scissor doors, so much like your sensor on the back of the car, that needs a sensor as well. It's not going to be something you want to come into contact with something, roof of a car park, pipes you see in car parks, or another car, or whatever. So it does need to be there. It is quite noticeable on such a bright colour. Perhaps you wouldn't notice it on a darker, obviously on a black you're not going to notice it at all, but it has to be there. Also, this black strip then runs into a further button to access the door opening, and there's another switch on the inside, so you're not trying to obviously reach up to the top, and then as I mentioned, you can use your key to do the exact same job. The back of the car is just as gorgeous as I remember it. The light so striking. Where it could or would or should have had exhaust, there's enough going on there to distract you from that. And the angles of it, well, it's a beautiful looking car all around, and the back is no different in the Cyberster. Electric car, so surely it has an electric hood, right? Yes, it does. And a very quick one, to be fair. So put your foot on the brake, hold down the button, and it closes in what feels like a mere 7 or so seconds later. You're weatherproof and cozy, which is pretty important here in Ireland. I have an MX-5 at home, and that takes a lot longer to do my car than that. If for any reason the electrics were to be an issue in the car, there's a manual override lever there that you can use, and that manual button can then allow someone to open the car from the outside. You could probably do it in the passenger seat as well, just there's a little bit of force required because they are quite heavy, but there's a backup plan, which is the main point. Also a tiny bit of storage back here, and there's a little holder that has a dog paw print on it, which I'm not sure if it's for your shopping hooks or maybe you'd fit a dash hound in the back there. I'm not too sure. Last time we saw the car, it was the half steering wheel. I'm kind of really surprised by what looks like a full steering wheel in terms of the design. I think it still looks really, really good. You've good vantage points for your center screen. You kind of feel like you're in a computer game of Gran Turismo or something, because you have these extra side screens. Language-wise, in Chinese at the moment, there's some parts of it, so it's quite difficult. I know it's probably an accept button. I'm seeing QR codes. I won't go too far into it, but there are the typical slide-down menus that give you access to things. There's a little MG racing driver widget that pops up, which I can no doubt help. It'll help you do things like turn on the air conditioning, all the things we usually see. Then some of the control switches are really impressive. The damping on the drinks holders, beautiful. If you're not using them, there's little push buttons and they pop up and they sit here. So maybe if you just wanted to throw your phone down like that, you can. Practicality wise, there's an armrest. It takes an SD card, a USB-C and a USB-A, and there's a wireless charging symbol down here. So, you know, it's a small roadster up here, but they've squeezed as much storage as they can. Door bins, not really too much worth talking about, to be honest with you, but certainly this space is not bad. And there's a little bit of extra storage at the back of this center tunnel. If you like screens, you're in the right place, because there's a further screen here for your climate control that's permanently accessible to the driver. There's car mode settings, again, not in English, so it's hard to kind of toggle through them. But again, you know, you have a permanent fixture here in terms of there aren't physical buttons, but it looks like it never leaves. And you have 2 huge buttons for your doors, and obviously one here for the drop roof. And then an additional set of haptic buttons for demisting windows, shortcuts to the climate control, hazard lights, and a 360 view of your surroundings. Interestingly, it pulls up the car in red, which was the version we saw last year in London. Again, just getting a better idea of the fit and finish of this car as, you know, a pretty much drivable vehicle. Very comfortable seats. I do wonder how this kind of off-white material will last in terms of dirt and splashes, and that might be worth looking about. The outer parts, very comfortable. Nice textures, nice feeling to a lot of the stuff. A grab handle here if you are using all the either rear motored or dual motored 600 brake horsepower version, because your passenger in particular probably won't understand how much electric torque this car is going to have, and 0 to 60 in 3 seconds, you'll want one of them to grab onto. There are further options for accessing shortcuts. So the mode button is on the back of what would usually be your gear paddle. The regen braking paddle is here. There's just one for that, so I presume there's a way of toggling through that. The Super Sport button, which probably is a boost function on cars that you see like the BMW M60, that gives you an extra burst of all that power. Then there's a steering wheel, again, is the different modes. It's probably beeping at me because there's a door open, and further toggling switches for going through menus, and 2 back buttons also. If you press that Super Sport button, you get that sound effect, and it also opens up a lap timer and a G meter over here, and also power units graphs to give you here. So again, that kind of opens up a race style mode. Again, the drama of that is impressive. You're also going to have to leave, like in Ireland, if you park your lovely car in the corner of a car park where no one else is parked, you will be guaranteed you'll come back and there'll be someone beside you, and that door does swing out quite a bit. So if there was a car very close to you, it might be tricky to get in and out, and you don't want to be lowering your roof and hopping over here and getting in. So I don't know, maybe buy your own car park. I'm just as impressed having seen the car today, even more so seeing kind of more of the finished product and getting a proper look at the boot and the space. As I mentioned, they haven't fully confirmed price for the MG Cyberster in Ireland just yet. I'm sure it'll happen in the coming weeks, because MG have confirmed that this car will be available in Ireland by summer of 2024, and we're filming this in mid-February, so the price has to be fairly imminent. What is it going to be? Would you splash out on the dual motored version? Would rear wheel be enough? Like, it's a heavy car, it's a heavy EV. 600 brake horsepower certainly will be bonkers levels performance, but maybe if there was sort of 300 from just the rear axle powered motor, that could be enough to have a lot of fun, and certainly a car that will get a lot of looks on the road. I've been lucky enough over the years to drive things like the Lexus LC500. I wouldn't, like, it's not as big as that car, but certainly from a striking level of what the hell is that, this car is going to achieve that all day long. So if you don't like feeling like you're in a fishbowl, it also may not be the type of car for you. And you'll have to be explaining to people, what's the badge? And, you know, you'll have to give them history lessons and all that stuff. But that could be fun. Anyway, I think it's beautiful. It does depend on price. I really hope MG can manage to get a somewhat palatable price from the supplier. And then we could see a handful of these on Irish roads starting from the summertime. I don't think it's ever going to be a massive selling car. These type of cars just aren't. But if your lifestyle could suit 2 seats and a fairly small boot, but a stunning looking set of wheels, I would certainly be interested. Thank you very much for watching. I'll talk to you on the next one.